President Cyril Ramaphosa is this morning expected to lead a high-level presidential imbizo. That's a public engagement program, basically to see the state of municipalities, particularly in the area of Sedibeng, that's here in Gauteng. Now, the president will be accompanied by various ministers as well as mayors of the affected municipalities. Let's get more now on what what is likely to greet the president in Sedibeng. We speak to the Democratic Alliance chairperson in the Sedibeng region. That's Dennis Ryder, who talks to us in Walkerville. That's in Vaal. Dennis, good morning to you, and thanks for your time. We know that the Sedibeng area also encompasses the Vaal municipality, the only municipality, well, at least that was the talk back then, but that municipality has been under the leadership of the Democratic Alliance for some time, and it has been revered, if you like, as one of the cleanest run municipalities. But a report came in a month ago, Dennis, suggesting that the SIU is circling that municipality over a vehicle tender. Are you able to talk about that first before you give us a picture of what the Sedibeng area looks like?
Sure. Good morning, Coley, and good morning to everyone watching. Thank you for having me on. Yes, Vaal has been a municipality of excellence for many years now. I was honored to serve there as a councillor for a number of years. And, of course, yes, so the SIU has indicated that they have they've flagged some concerns around a tender. We actually welcome the investigation. And, I mean, I think that, with any large organization, so, I mean, Vaal has a budget just below 1.5 billion rand. And obviously it's a large organization. With any organization that size, there'll always be, people that are trying to get away with things that they shouldn't, etc. The nice thing with this particular investigation is that it's specifically aimed at the staff, not at any of the politicians. So from our point of view, that's a bit of a relief, certainly. But I think important that we note a number of things. So number one, the reason it's aimed at the staff is because in Vaal, politicians keep themselves very far removed from tender processes and are kept well clear of that. So there's no politician that's been indicated to be under investigation by the SIU, certainly at this stage. The second part is that our tender processes in Vaal are all done very openly and under public scrutiny. So there are video recordings of all of the tender meetings, the bid process meetings, and so on. So there's a good body of evidence for the SIU to follow, and if they can find anything that's wrong, we certainly would welcome that, because obviously it will help us to strengthen our internal controls as well.
Sure.
So yeah, looking forward to the outcome of that.
Well, let's come to the entire region, therefore, Dennis. That's the Sedibeng, under which Vaal also falls under. I remember in the run-up to the local government elections in November last year, the neighboring municipality to Vaal is Mfuleni. Just what greets you when you get into Mfuleni, it's despair. I don't want to get into the details about the stormwater drainage systems, the roads, it's horrible. And then you get into Vaal. It's just beautiful. Why is it that those municipalities are looking shabby compared to what you are greeted by when you walk into Vaal?
So I think that certainly Mfuleni. Now remember, there's three municipalities that form up the Sedibeng district. That's Mfuleni, Lesedi, and Vaal. So the difference between Vaal and Mfuleni certainly is the fact that you've had 22 years of proper governance. So there's a difference between government and governance. And governance is doing things by the book. And you've got 22 years of things being done by the book. What has happened in Mfuleni, and I mean, I go back to a presentation that was done by Mayor Hlongwane in 2016, where she already highlighted to the Premier then that there were massive problems in Mfuleni, and the reality is that there's a backlog of debt. So, and I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Money was stolen out of the municipality, money that should have been used to pay for services, for bulk services, to Eskom, to Rand Water, etc., was stolen out of the municipality going back years. That has left a massive legacy debt. And of course, when you're trying to pay off the credit card with money that's supposed to be putting food on the table, you're never going to find yourself in a situation that you can catch up. So whatever administration comes into Mfuleni at this stage faces a massive problem of having to deal with that legacy debt to Eskom and to Rand Water specifically. But again, they don't have the systems in place, they don't have the governance and the controls in place to make sure that they are achieving what should be done by local government. Just the basic principles of local government. So things like billing. Billing can't be done in a place like Mfuleni. They tried to go the route of smart meters. Of course, there was corruption in that tender as well. And you would have seen about 3 years ago that the company that was setting up the smart meters actually took out a judgment against the Mfuleni municipality, one of the biggest civil judgments that has been taken out in South Africa, because Mfuleni reneged on their side of the transaction, because first of all, people were trying to get their hands in the cookie jar, and second of all, just due to blatant incompetence and having the wrong people in the right places. Yeah. So, we've got cadre deployment, and I mean, this is, again, it's a long-standing issue. The Sedibeng district municipality in 2013 put forward an item to council stating that the pressure that they had been under to employ ANC members and Mkhonto Wesizwe veterans had left them totally overstaffed. That was way back 2013, 2014 that already the alarm bells were sounding. Yeah. We're sitting in a situation now where Sedibeng district municipality remains overstaffed, and they're now trying to push staff away from the district municipality into the locals to try and balance their books and make sure they can afford things. The reality, though, is that the local municipalities can't afford those staff members. They can't absorb them. And people are working from home or just being told, don't come in the office. There's no space for you at this stage. That's the latest that we've heard from Mfuleni. There's staff members sitting at home being told, don't come into the office. We've got no space for you. There's a total lack of management in the municipality. Mm-hmm. And if you could just fix that management, start doing things, and it's going to take a long time. I mean, if someone comes in there and starts to do the right things, it's going to take them a long time to fix this long backlog of absolutely zero service delivery that you've seen the evidence of when you drove through Mfuleni.
Yeah, very briefly for me, Dennis, there was at some point talk that the municipalities that are encompassed in this region, the Sedibeng municipal area, including Vaal, they were going to have some kind of collaborative effort in order to try and fix things. Where is that right now? Do you know whether that commitment has been kept, or it's simply people pulling in different directions?
So there are a number of areas of collaboration that have been working for quite some time. And for example, Vaal has got one of the top fire departments in the country. And you'll find that often the Vaal Fire Department responds to areas in Mfuleni. So the reality is that, big brothers come in. So MEC Lebogang Mahile has had the Mfuleni municipality under administration for the last 7 years. No, I beg your pardon. Sorry, that's 5 years. For the last 5 years, he's had the municipality under administration. Mm-hmm. There's been very little improvement, if any. And, with the ahead of the presidential imbizo that we've got today, there's been a string of ministers and the premier coming to the municipality. Suddenly we've seen more service delivery in the last 2 or 3 weeks than we've seen happening, for 5 years.
That's laughable.
It is laughable, but of course, the one that hasn't come to the area is Lebogang Mahile, the guy that's supposed to be running the show. So, in terms of his role as the administrator, Vaal certainly, I know, has reached out often. And I mean, there's many areas where there is kind of informal collaboration. But, again, any assistance is also fairly shunned by the municipality. And I mean, here's the deal. The the specialists have been brought in all over the place. Rand Water has been brought in to deal with the sewage leaks, etc., that we've all read about in the Vaal River. Now, I'll be going to a site today that I discovered yesterday afternoon, following a tip-off from a community member, where it's 100 meters from the Vaal River, and the pump station number 8, is flowing freely into the Vaal River, the sewage. Now, about a month and a half ago, I exposed pump station 16, which is about 500 meters from the Vaal River, was leaking into the river, but now we've found another one. So I'll be going on site today. It's about 9 kilometers from where the president's going to be talking, but I'm going to be there and take a video that I'll put out. But certainly, the service delivery is just not happening. They've called in the specialists, but the reality is that the political will in the municipality is still not there. So
Sure.
You mentioned the election of 2021, and the reality is that what happened there is that the ANC caucus got hollowed out totally because the support for the ANC dropped so dramatically that none of their stalwarts came back, and the only people that came back were the ward councillors, of which only 5 were second-term councillors. The rest were all brand-new councillors. So all of that institutional knowledge, all of that ability to know how to run a municipality has been hollowed out totally. It needs a total clean-out. It needs to be sorted out from scratch, because there are real issues that need sorting out. I mean, one of the biggest problems is the town planning, just the rampant permission to do whatever you please in Empoleni, regardless of the impact that it has on the infrastructural network. That's what's causing the problems on the roads, the water, the sewage that you're seeing. And of course, the lack of maintenance is exacerbating it, but the demand for services is just so much more. And it's in every area. It's in Sebokeng, it's in Everton, it's in Three Rivers, the plush suburbs that pay high rates as well. They really are all struggling and all feeling the same burden. The Sebokeng this morning, large areas woke up without electricity.
Dennis, Ryder, let me thank you very much for your time and painting a picture of what's likely to greet President Cyril Ramaphosa as he heads down to Sidibeng with the delegation of high-powered ministers this morning.